game was able to zone out Shun from a lot of CS early, as well as the opposite happened in first game with Gemini on that Elise. So a little bit more reserved of junglers this game, I have to say, but definitely possibilities.
Yeah, it feels like CFO, I feel like, I don't know, Shun on Jinx, it feels like he has so much safety throughout the game, right? Like Frank really have to try and invest so much into trying to get access the backline of CFO, but it feels like they don't really have enough tools to do that. Like sure, you've got the Wukong, sure, you've got the Annie, but I feel like that Braum doesn't really fit in too well, and especially, you know, giving Jinx a free lane like that is a little bit scary personally for me.
Can be, and it is the Arcane Comet here picked up by Res. I don't think it guarantees that it's AP Malphite. I believe yesterday when Solo Kill did play the Malphite into, I think it was Drivers, did just have that Comet for the early game before going towards just a tankier build. So certainly still options available. Also kind of curious that Jimin just starts with the straight Sapphire. Res getting a little damage before lane phase even starts, drops the ward down as well.
The top diff starts nice and early. It's also got the, what is that, the Shamrock Malphite skin? Extra camouflage on the rifts.
Yeah, it is the Shamrock. That's the best Malphite skin, honestly.
Whoa.
It's literally just a recolor.
I don't know, I really like the Coral Reef one.
Oh,
I think the splash art for that one looks really good.
But here, we'll have to see how this bot lane plays out. Not a lane we've typically seen, obviously having this Braum, and you have to feel like perhaps Jinx will get the priority on the lane. She tends to in most matchups. Hook goes wide, and we will land the Winter's Bite there onto Slaytrue, but no follow-up as of yet, and it is looking like Shun will have priority in this lane, at least for the early stages.
Yeah, kind of expected out of the Jinx here to just push early on, and Braum always does feel a bit more like a scaling counter pick as opposed to something that is just going to come out hard, destroy your lane here for you, especially with both ADCs going the cull. Most likely won't be a whole lot of action down there anyway. And I'll be looking again towards Jimmy's build for this game because so often have we seen the Veigar's go for that second item tier, but the problem is it delays your Rabadon so long, and by that point you sort of want other items like the Void or even something like a Zhonya's, or if you want to go even deeper, stuff like the Randuin's can even be good on Veigar. So it's interesting to see what they go for. I think we've felt Veigar in the PCS so far has been honestly pretty low impact. But internationally, it's found a lot of success.
Yeah, it definitely did rise as like a power pick in OC as well, especially in the LCO. We'll have to see if Jimin can sort of find that same value from it. I think that starting the Sapphire Crystal is kind of a good step towards that. You know, being able to get that Lost Chapter nice and early does kind of help out with those early mana issues for him. And yeah, I mean, I wonder if Pretender can really punish him on the Annie.
We'll have to see. He can obviously build that towards the Catalyst, but if he did, would kind of suggest that he was going a Catalyst build with no tier, which honestly I'd be a fan of. I think tier on Veigar is nice, but honestly don't value the upgrade too highly until later on in the game. Scuttle Crab kind of gets sniped away. Ooh, was so close to Gemini being able to come get that. Maybe now looking mid. Jimian has the cage. Ooh, doesn't quite connect.
That was so close though, and I think we should bring up with this sort of Veigar in the mid lane, there's been so often where the Veigar has not been able to achieve anything in the games because they've just ended so early. And one thing that's important is he tends to not get much lane prio, at least for the majority of the game. And with that, it gives a lot of sort of productivity over to the side of Frank, and they can start building up perhaps some early dragons as well as Rift Herald through that prio.
Yeah, definitely going to be a big onus on Pretender, especially to try and find, you know, some kind of roam to outdo the Veigar in the mid lane and really punish the pick overall. And yeah, we haven't seen him do that much in the past couple games, so definitely going to be his chance to shine in this one. Going to be the difference making, especially helping out, you know, punish that bot side of Jinx and Nautilus, who, you know, do prefer to kind of have a bit of a quieter laning phase, and you know, they don't really have that many escape tools either, so can easily be punished.
They can. Solo kill looks like he's going to be forced to reset. We got very close to seeing some solo kills actually in this matchup yesterday, as you know, Malphite hits level 6 and can oftentimes just look for the kill. Maybe some trade coming out in the bot side here. Solo kill grabbed himself some magic resist very early, and it looks like it will be that tank Malphite coming out as well.
Yeah, definitely appears to be so, and bot lane already has got a bit of an advantage here for Shun, and health bar is definitely favouring them at the moment. So Zeri Braum getting a little bit punished here in at least the early stages of this lane, and it looks so good for Shun. And I mean, every single Jinx game he plays, I believe he's just absolutely popped off and really carried the game. So I wonder if on the side of Frank you are going to have to look for some way to shut this down, as we do see an invade coming in onto Hollow on his Gromp.
Looks like CFO will be forced away, at least for now. Now, is Jimmy News going to go both the TI and the Catalyst? So most likely we'll be just grabbing the El Clasico. Dragon potentially being started up. Gemini's looking at it. They do have that mid priority, and the Tibbers was used as well. So it looks like it should be theirs if they want it.
Yeah, I wonder if Frank's going to try and contest here.
Hook lands. There's just going to be a little bit of damage traded through over here in the bot lane, as all priority over here does allow them to pick up this first dragon, and on the team that you have to think scales a lot harder, really nice early pickup.
Yeah, it's definitely good, and I think kind of as you were hinting at before, teams have sort of struggled to play with the Veigar not having the same mid priority that you would from other picks, but the fact they still managed to get the dragon is a very nice sign. And obviously Annie's not the strongest bully, although Gemini
getting extremely low here. Hollow looking to solo him out, but with that movement speed he should be okay to run away for now, and ultimately is staying in that bush, actually, perhaps looking for something in return. It is Eminem really low on both health and mana in this bot lane, as Winter's Bite will land onto Shun, but more fighting going on the top side of River.
Yeah, are actually going to manage to grab that scuttle sort of off the back of Veigar getting some priority into Annie. I mean, these are two champs that just aren't particularly strong in the 1v1, more known for kind of team fighting and skirmishing later on. Maybe now, though, Jimmy and has to be careful as Pretender. Obviously doesn't have the Tibbers, but has himself a level advantage.
Meanwhile, on the top lane, still looking relatively even. Both top laners have hit 6 now, and they do have the ults available, so hopefully we get to see some action in here soon. We did see Solo Kill versus Driver yesterday. They were really just going at it in this matchup, which is not something you'd kind of commonly expect. Like, you would think that both of them would be saving their ults for like more skirmishy stuff, but we know that these guys like to play aggressive.
They do, and I think it's a matchup where it kind of feels if you don't match ultimates, you just sort of find yourself falling behind, right? So if one person invests, you kind of have to as well. Hollow's going to be here to cover any sort of potential dive, but obviously Gemini isn't in the area, is just in base. Don't believe that was confirmed by the side of Frank, though, so respecting it nonetheless. Could even look for a gank of their own, but Rest can just ult away if need be. We'll spot out Hollow here as well.
Yeah, so all lanes really are doing well here for the side of CFO, which we do see a two-man Tibbers, but there is no follow-up, being that it is the Braum. But Pretender kind of just using Tibbers here on cooldown to push this wave out and find himself some recalls. Rift Herald, though, started here from CFO, and Pretender has no mana whatsoever, so oh, Eminem trying to solo out Shun down in the bot lane. Actually gets him quite low, but we see a 4v4 erupting here, and it is going to be the unstoppable force landed, and it's Kaiwing going down first. Although Hollow finds a nice two-man Cyclone. Rest flashes out on just 1 HP as Solo Kill, trying to see if he can 1v3 this early into the game. Hook will land onto him. He does dash over the wall, but Slaytrue with the flash root will confirm a second kill. Gemini picks up that one onto Hollow.
Wow, very weird fight there. Felt like there just was no damage on either side and slowly whittled them down. Unfortunately, it was the first blood that went over to Slaytrue. The Veigar ult was so close to stealing that, or I guess securing that, but was stolen away by Slaytrue, and while the gold still nice, would have been much better on the Veigar. Still, though, I think CFO have to be very happy with that. A 2-for-0 as we get a look at the replay.
Yeah, all started off with this hook coming out from Slaytrue onto Kaiwing after the shield was falling down as well. It means that Kaiwing's actually very vulnerable. Rest ult finds one onto him and secures that first blood. Frankie's supposed to kind of do a good job of turning around here, but like you said earlier, there's just no damage available, and CFO kind of just slow chase. Props to Slaytrue as well. Not only hits all of his hooks, but also flashes forward, recognizing that Hollow's now a vulnerable target and taking him out as well. Definitely came out on top in terms of the support battle there.
They do, and CFO now, despite having, you know, a pretty strong scaling team comp, have themselves that gold lead, the dragon, and the first herald. So ticking all the boxes here on the side of CFO. Definitely what you want to see out of them.
Yeah, absolutely is. And back up to top, this Arcane Comet Malphite is actually getting a lot of work done onto Solo Kill's Gnar. And I mean, that was kind of happening last game, and then Solo Kill turned into an absolute menace. So it seems like the side of Frank are going to have to look for that again almost, as Eminem gets quite a lot of chunk done onto him as Slaytrue lands that hook.
A lot of chunk indeed. Doesn't have any sums on Eminem. He did burn them both to chase down Shun before. Did manage to get the flash out of him. Obviously, both ADCs are going to be quite vulnerable while that's down. Rod of Ages now picked up for both mid laners. Relatively good timing, I think, for both of them, so are going to scale up pretty nicely. Even the stopwatch for Jimmy, I believe, had it in the runes and has just come online a little bit earlier, and Pretender's still working on his.
Yeah, with this Chemtech Drake coming up in 35 seconds, having a stopwatch is going to be a pretty good indicator of what CFO are able to do in this fight. Feels like they definitely do have the upper hand, and Frank Esports, they're going to have to try and find a way to, capitalize off of this, because I don't think they're going to be able to contest.
Yeah, probably do just want to wait a bit longer for the Zeri to scale, but ultimately it does feel like you kind of don't want to take this to the ultra late game. Maybe if you can try find that sweet spot around perhaps the third dragon, could be the place to fight. As Herald does get dropped bot, that gold is shared between the CFO, jungle, and AD. Will Viego finally deal some damage? We'll find out soon. Dragon is up and available now, and the way Frank are posturing kind of suggests they want to contest. Both tops do have their TP. Solo kill, though, currently no Narbar, so they're just going to try regain a little bit of control, let Eminem get his recall off. The Jinx ult narrowly does not cancel that base.
Yeah, I think Eminem getting his base off there is huge. It did get chunked down to around about half HP, so needs to be as healthy as possible for potentially what could be this upcoming Dragon fight. Both top laners as well, kind of just waiting around, twiddling their thumbs, seeing if there's going to be a fight breaking out, but looks like Frank, in the end, are just going to give it over.
CFO, they do just have too much control around that Dragon, and while Frank managed to delay it for some time, will just have to concede it in the end. And second Dragon picked up only 12 minutes in. We've seen CFO do this so much throughout the regular season. Going to be feeling very comfortable with their position now.
Yeah, and you have to wonder for Frank, you get outscaled, but all of a sudden in this early game, CFO 2k gold ahead and 2 dragons up as well. At what point are Frank going to be able to turn it around?
It does feel right, like you kind of have to play towards 2 items on the Zeri or something like that, but honestly won't be at the 2 items before this third dragon, you wouldn't think. Still doesn't have the mythic, although probably does have close to enough gold now, especially since he grabbed some of those plates. Holo maybe needs to be a little careful here on the scuttle. Does just manage to pick it up. Won't be any punish, at least for now.
Able to secure that, but overall CFO definitely very happy with the current game state, even pressing forwards and looking for more. Not too interested in the buff, but really just the control around the bot side, hoping to set up for Shun to just continue to free farm like he has been so far. AD carries have been relatively even in terms of CS, but it does feel like Shun has the plate advantage and gold advantage overall.
It has been the beneficiary of so much of his team's pressure here. Wonder if he can manage to take that tower before the plates fall. At least for now will just be the blue grab, but still a lot of pressure around this bot jungle from the side of CFO.
Yeah, they have to be really careful though. They're making sure to not commit too hard, especially in that sort of choke area where Kaiwing can find so much value with his Glacial Fissure. I'm going to back off for now, really just focusing on getting shown as much CS as possible.
I have to wonder, as this game progresses, does this lane even start to look any better for solo kill? Because at the moment with this Frozen Heart completed, you see it right there, he's really not doing any damage. You have to imagine it's not going to be able to be a Hull Breaker game this game, almost certainly has to go Black Cleaver second. And even then, you don't really know. Rest is actually just walking under his tower looking for the kill.
That was a bit crazy from him. I don't know if that was
Chad energy. As we take a look here at the turret plates, you can see those 4 plates picked up in the bot lane. Obviously, a couple were shared there between the jungle and AD, but Shun here has managed to grab himself pretty sizable amount of gold. Looks like that bot tower will remain, at least for now. Looking now towards that third dragon, which is going to spawn very, very early. And, still while the side of Frank Esports are trying to scale up, won't be any second items from anyone on their side.
Ooh, Pretender.
Oh yeah, Jimmy getting chunked out quite low here by the Tibbers, but ultimately, the only thing up really is the Herald in 40 seconds, and with his build, the Rod of Ages should be able to sustain mostly back to full and be okay for that. And it actually looks like solo kill up on top will be going for Black Cleaver first. Fight erupts. It is going to be Holo there getting depth charge, but Kaiwing in the middle is going invisible, is going golden, sorry. There is a Cyclone use, Laytrue 1 proc off getting stunned up. He is going to go up as well, as he doesn't quite die, but Rest comes in, finds the one-man ult. He will take down Holo there on the side. Pretender trying to run for his life as Kaiwing getting chased under his tower as well. Looks like that'll be it for now, but again, just another free kill there picked up for the side of CFO.
It was, and now 3-0, 2K up, should be feeling very good about fighting this next dragon. Jimmy and even TP's top to be able to save this, and it's kind of looking like CFO just reaping the rewards of their draft here. Kind of feels like they just have pressure all across the map as well as the better team fight. I think really well played there.
Eminem looking for the 2v1. He is going to find Slaytrue. Can he also find Rest? This frozen heart is making Malphite so unkillable. Eminem's going to have to try and run. Is he going to be able to? That cheese wheel will slow him down quite a lot. He is going to find one. It is traded back though. Gemini now has got the reset, but ultimately Eminem picks up 2 for himself.
I think that's actually very important, getting those 2 kills there. Will accelerate him nicely for that 3rd dragon, and we'll take a look at how this all began.
Yeah, Slaytrue once again finds a hook onto Kaiwing. This time he does have the wall of Abel though and finds the Glacial Fissure onto 3 members, which stalls for quite a long time, but regardless of that, Hollow finds a re-engage. Slaytrue flashes over the wall after going golden, and Eminem, it looks like he has a really good angle here, but I think he's too afraid to go any further, and there's Rest with the assassination unstoppable force onto 1. And from here, Rest is just not taking any damage at all, slowly chasing down. This is a huge trade from Eminem as well.
Yeah, it was really bold by him, just flashes forward, takes out Slaytrue, and perhaps thought he can 1v1 Rest, but honestly just feels a bit too tanky. I think Rest, if he'd just backed off, probably would have just been able to get the 1-for-0, but did actually flash forward to try secure it. Maybe didn't realize Gemini was around. Important kills though, as we said, for Eminem. I still think, isn't going to have 2 items ahead of this next dragon, but does accelerate him pretty significantly, and I wonder, can Frank start this up? It looks like they have much better tempo on the map. CFO, they're quite late on their reset.
Rest popping a little bit of damage, but even with no magic resist, Pretender is just not doing any damage regardless. This Malphite is just tanky in all essence of the word. Now, with this Infernal Drake now alive, neither team really has set up just yet, but I feel like CFO has a bit of time getting this mid prior.
They do, and they have this Herald as well, so can always just trade away the Herald to allow themselves towards a drag, and it feels like kind of a make or break moment for Frank. You sort of have to contest this, but if you lose this fight, you're going to find yourselves at such a significant deficit. And CFO, they're going to want to start it up. They want to force Frank to make their move.
Yeah, we talked about how this 3rd dragon is so pivotal for
Frank. Hook lands onto Pretender. He does go golden, so we'll buy a bit of time. But full man Nara's found there by solo kill. He's looking to turn the game around. It is going to be 1 kill traded back, but Hollow picking up 2 for himself. Shun gets excited. Is he going to be able to get out? It looks like he will, but massive performance out of solo kill to turn that around.
Solo kill was really struggling in the side lane pretty much all game long, but that might be the way for Frank to come back into this game. They don't have their jungler here, though, and Shun's still full HP.
I don't think they can even secure this dragon. Frank is so low, and Shun is ever so healthy. Slaytrue as well doesn't quite connect the hook.
Oh, and with that hook miss, are they going to back away? It doesn't look like it. I think Shun, especially with the red buff, can't force them off. There isn't a lot of threat here from the side of Frank. Oh, this might come down to just a 50-50.
Don't look at his TP up soon, though.
Looking for a 50-50. It is going to be Eminem who picks it up. They're looking for now a kill onto Slaytrue. Hook lands, Shun changing direction. Eminem actually dodges out of that zap, finds 2 for himself, and lives on 1 HP.
So close there, and I'm pretty sure CFO might have been able to force them off there, but unfortunately didn't hit enough of those W's. The hooks from Slaytrue did not connect. So Frank, they kind of get away with murder. They get the dragon and they get so much gold onto Eminem. Pretty much bring this game back to an even footing.
Yeah, it looks so dicey here from them. They had absolutely no vision or control over the river at all. They have to sort of muscle their way in. Slaytrue starts off with the hook, but Pretender is able to go golden before he gets CC'd any further. And look at this beautiful Gnarl. 4 men straight into the wall, and Hollow follows it up instantly with the Cyclone as well. And from here, Frank are able to clean it up, but they take a lot of damage in return. Shun is able to stay safe through the majority of that and dish out some damage of his own.
I am kind of blown away there that Eminem was able to survive as well as pick up the double kill. He dodged the zap, and in that time between his damage, Kaiwing's damage, as well as Pretender's damage, we're able to almost take out a full HP Jinx, and that really could be a huge difference maker in this game, and all props really to solo kill for making that even slightly possible. That 4-man Gnarl was so pivotal in making that even within a dream's range.
Yeah, definitely the biggest play we've seen so far in the series, and with that, Frank have managed to close the gold lead significantly and also pick up that 3rd dragon crucially for them, giving them a lot more time to play within this game as well. Eminem too, 4-1 now on the Zeri. He's able to become this key carry for Frank.
He is, but it's worth noting that I think playing the Zeri up into the likes of, Nautilus, the Vega, and the Malphite is quite difficult. There's a lot of point and click available to you, and you have to be very careful how you position around it. If there is a man to do it, though, it could be Eminem, has obviously been performing extremely well here in the playoffs. And I think while Frank have kind of bought themselves some time in this game, it is still in CFO's control.
Yeah, it does feel like MM definitely needs his flash available for Frank to even stand a chance of winning the fight. All of the damage is really coming from him, and without him, Frank, they're really going to suffer if he can't dish out the DPS. Rest, though, is still gradually getting tankier and tankier. Hasn't quite finished the second item yet, but what is he even building towards there? Is that the Jack Show?
I think it is Jack Show, yeah. I think that's kind of interesting. I don't know that you need really the MR against the Annie. I think you could even just look for that Iceborne Gauntlet, but is going to opt into it, and it will make him even more survivable against that Annie, who eventually will likely do a bit of damage to him. So I guess it is a good pickup, as well as it obviously amplifies his already existing armor.
Yeah, it's going to make him very, very tanky here. Dragon always remains at least somewhat a threat here, though, for the side of CFO. They've got it coming up in 2 more minutes now. Crucially, Eminem is very, very fed, though. Is very accelerated now. And Jimmy, he has gone for that Sarah second, so won't really be hitting his stride until he grabs that Rabadon. Especially not if he itemizes something like the Void after. Won't be making use of all that extra AP that Vega can have access to.
And one of the biggest issues, though, for Eminem is that he kind of has the itemized towards him the very third, which means that his Lord Doms is still going to be pretty delayed, and it's going to be a really tough mission getting through Rest with all the armor he has available to him so far in the game. Definitely needs a few more gold injections to really be able to dish out the big damage.
Yeah, it's kind of, while he has at least some damage, is maybe relying on the likes of Pretender or Solo Kill to find some sort of big engage to put that fight in a better position for himself. Pretender, I think, has been, kind of invisible in this game so far, but certainly hasn't done bad for himself. He's still found a lot of impact.
By here, going on to Slaytrue. Doesn't land a nice knock-up onto Kaiwing. Guardian keeping it alive for now, but there's 2 people chasing him down. Glacial Fissure will not stop them. It is going to be Gemini picking up that kill, and they are now turning their heads towards this Baron.
Yeah, I think they just might be able to do it. Frank are going to be forced to contest 4v5, and there's a lot of cooldowns.
coming in.
Yeah, double TP. They don't have a Tibbers, actually, so this is going to be so hard to do.
Cage was wasted.
Solo Kill does have his Mega Nut coming up very, very shortly, and Eminem will spot out the health.
He's on the wrong
Pretender
side.
Does actually get taken so low, but it is Eminem trying to find everyone. He finds Shun. He's going to find Slaytrue. What else can this man find? It's a double kill for him so far. Gemini's going to have to flash out of the Baron pit as
the Baron
heads towards Baron now.
He can't make it over the wall.
Oh my goodness, nice double bar. It is going to be another couple of kills picked up here, as well as the Baron, and Frank are in such a lead now.
Yeah, Frank are running away with this game completely. They get a quadra kill onto Eminem Zeri. 4,000 damage done for him in that fight. And I have to say, it was just really badly executed from the side of CFO. Your Jinx ends up in no man's land. Vega is just using cages completely wastefully. And they really allow Frank to just come in and clean them up. And you've got to do better here as CFO.
Yeah, Frank have now pulled ahead with the gold, and just so much going on in this team fight. It feels like CFO had a pretty decent setup here, and for some reason, they choose to go for this engage here, which actually turns out pretty well for them, gives them the opportunity to even look for the Baron in the first place. But, crucially, that, the Nautilus ultimate as well as the Vega ultimate and the Vega flash, so many key abilities used, which means that this fight turns out a little bit worse for them. Pretender actually gets engaged on first. Drishline goes wide, but Eminem on the flank, somehow by himself on a solo mission, finds so much with the follow-up as well, the CC to help keep him going and just clean up these kills. Honestly, CFO, they're on the run, and with the Baron so low, it's just right for the taking.
It is, and I think Solo Kill, another massive Gnarl found. Credit to him and Eminem, kind of putting this game on their backs here. And honestly, we were saying before that it was going to be extremely difficult for Frank to come back into this, although he's very happy with that. But now it feels the other way around, right? CFO, now they have to try to find their way back into this. Down 4,000 gold, have to face the Baron, and Dragon's completely evened up.
Yeah, it's so scary as well. Frank have so many tools available to try and dive this turret as well, with Solo Kill in the side lane, level 50, level 16 now over Rest, level 14. They've just got so much raw power available to them. Going to be focusing on this mid and bot lane tier 2 turrets. And it's just so rough. It feels like CFO, they don't quite have enough wave clear to be able to deal with both.
No, they do have that Vega cage, though, which can buy them a bit of time. But currently, the Baron power play is sitting at almost 5,600 gold. Definitely a massive turnaround.
Oh, Gemini here will not be able to find that snare on Pretender, so he is okay to just walk out. Does lose that Tibbers, importantly, but not bad for the side of Frank. It will pressure at least one recall out of Gemini, and perhaps they can look for the tower shortly. And I want to say, I feel like at this stage of the game, Rest will be just a pacifist Malphite until this Zeri is on his screen.
You'd have to hope so, right? Feels like if you can't kill Eminem, you have no chance of winning the fight. And it was kind of crazy in that last fight as well. Managed to find himself, Eminem, in a place where there was no Vega, no Malphite. And I believe the Nordot was already used previously. Just had no threats and isolated Shun on the Jinx and just took him out.
Yeah, Eminem finds an opportunity and he really just pounces on it. Frank Esports, so they're having trouble taking down these tier 2 turrets. Kaibing spends the ultimate.
Ooh, nice Glacial Flizzard. Will block off a little bit, but ultimately aren't able to find this tower as of yet. But as pointed out before, I mean, it's almost up to a 7,000 gold Baron power play, and you can't really ask for much more, as they now are ultimately ahead by just a little over 5,000 gold.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough though. You'd hope that they'd be able to get more from that Baron, but they aren't able to break down that mid lane tier 2, which gives CFO the opportunity to retain a big presence on the map. I think that a big part of that is because Frank, like we mentioned before, they don't really have any tools to go in and really just relying on CFO to go in first. But look at that gold lead for Eminem.
Yeah, that's insane. That is an entire item, an entire AD carry item nonetheless ahead of this Jinx, and it's going to be so hard now to take out Eminem. He's picked up the stopwatch, so we'll have that available for be it Nautilus ult or the Malphite ult, and I mean, you can just try and chain CC on him as long as you do hit him with one, but ultimately he's going to be so hard to take down at this point.
Does feel pretty much invincible, I think, with the stopwatch, especially because he will have that flash in time for the next drag. Worth noting is that Dragon and Baron spawn at similar times, and it is only going to be the third Dragon for either team, so there is potential to kind of go towards that Baron. And we've seen CFO kind of do stuff like that before, where they do just try and rush down that Baron with all their DPS. Obviously just tried it earlier in the game. It didn't really work out.
Frank Esports. Holland's actually waiting on the top side. There's no one here at all. I wonder how long he's going to wait around here for. I guess at a certain point he realizes that no one is actually coming towards him. And with that, they can understand where CFO kind of positioning across the map.
Yeah, and I think this is good actually, because they've just cleared out and made sure no one's on the top side, so Pretender's able to get pressure up in the top lane. It is going to almost certainly have to be answered, and then they should get priority over the river just before this dragon spawns. So I think nice usage of sort of the Wukong to be able to find something, as we do find the tower there in the middle lane.
Yeah, CFO was spread so thin across the map that Frank are just able to clean up that, those last remaining HP points on that mid lane turret, and might potentially look for this top lane turret as well.
Eminem's so confident he just dashes over the wall into tower, and I mean, why not? He dashed 1v5 last fight and it worked out well, as recall should come in here and look toward what is third dragon for either team.
Yeah, Eminem definitely, I respect his confidence as well. He's got so many tools available for him, 4 items completed, including that Guardian Angel, and both summoners available. Definitely feeling really comfortable, even if, there's the threat from Rest with the Unstoppable Force. Being able to flash away from that pretty much secures you for the rest of the fight.
Solo kill already in position for another massive flank here. And CFO, it looks like they're being forced away from Baron, so are just going to have that 5v5 on Dragon, and it's a fight that you have to favor the side of Frank in at the moment.
Oh, he's got a good angle on it.
Solo kill is going to look here. He's finding some damage onto Rest. He's building up the Narbar. 3-man Unstoppable Force will land, but there is no follow-up. It will be Rest going down first. Are they able to find something here? It is Hollow going over. He has to go golden, but can he get the Cyclone off before he dies? It looks like he might. Nice ult there, but Shun lives on 1 HP. It is going to be another double kill here found by Zeri. It looks like it might just be a triple kill, although Pretender picks it up. And now Dragon for Frank. It is such a disaster here for the side of CFO. Eminem is carrying on. He's looking for Jimmy in here in the bot lane. He's getting corralled. It looks like he will be going down. Tries to find damage, manages to get both the teleport and the shield bow down, but ultimately Dragon teamfight win, and now onto towers and inhibitors.
Yeah, could maybe even go just for this inhib. 8,000 damage dealt by Eminem. Was actually 0 from Hollow. Didn't even get the Cyclone off. Was just CC'd down, but they're so far ahead, and unfortunately it feels like CFO now running out of options I think especially it's kind of telling when Rest can find that 3-man ult, but there's no follow-up. And he was kind of almost forced into doing it because otherwise would have just had to ult away. Let's look at a replay.
Yeah, I mean, CFO, they do kind of retain the river control for now, and they feel like they're, in a good position, but they don't know that Solokill is just waiting right behind them with his half Mega Narbar, just ready to go in as soon as his teammates are ready. And Frank, they do a really good job of pushing them into the choke, right into the waiting arms of him. The Glacial Fissure comes out really early, doesn't actually find anyone, but Rest, with his 3-man ult, the CFO, they're just too scared to walk up with Kaiwing, zoning and Hollow on the side too. Rest goes down super quickly, and Hollow has a bit of a mishap, but does do a good job of keeping CFO in the area and setting up for the Mega Gnar ultimate. And Shin drops so low, taken out in the end. And without your main AD carry alive, you don't have any more damage left in the team fight.
You don't, but returning to live, looks like CFO were trying to do the Baron.
Oh, they are grouped here. Hollow's looking. It will be a 3-man, and followed up by a 3-man Tibbers. Rest comes in. He finds himself a 4-man, but ultimately there is no damage to follow it. It's going to be another 3 members from CFO going down. They're doing this Baron, but I almost perhaps think they could have ended.
Yeah, and unfortunately in that fight, Shun, the main carry of the side of CFO right now, was only able to do 300 damage. It was just taken out so early. Jimin as well on the run. I don't think he can get this off.
Oh, the TP, he's TPing right into the base. This might just be the game for Frank Esports. Jimin actually gets cancelled at the last second. Eminem going to be picking up another freebie for himself. Legendary on the Zeri. And now Slaytree, the only surviving member, trying his best to delay what is the inevitable. Frank picking up game 3 of the series, leading against CFO.
Yeah, well, it did start off with obviously CFO taking out game number 1 in an extremely decisive fashion, and they looked like they were going to do it again here in this game too, until Eminem made a heroic play mid, picked himself up 2 kills, and then they just found team fight after team fight to bring themselves back into the game. They got all their objectives, and really it was the Eminem show, although I'm not even sure that that's true because of Solokill's Gnar ults were actually insane.
They were. It did feel like a 2-man effort, but man, I feel like CFO threw that game so hard. I think they were in such an unlosable position, and then, had the disaster on the mid wave, followed up by a pretty much unlosable fight, then gave Eminem some more kills, and then lost at the Baron, right? It feels